As Rita sat quietly in the corner of the party, sipping her bottle of zobo, something strange happened. A wild-looking man stumbled into the venue. He pointed at the zobo bottles scattered around and yelled at the top of his voice, "You're not drinking zobo." "That's bad." The crowd erupted in laughter. Everyone thought it was just another crazy man ranting nonsense. But not Rita. Her hand shook, and the bottle slipped from her fingers, spilling the drink all over the floor. Her heart thumped in her chest as his words replayed in her mind, "Blood." Could it really mean something? Rita wasn't laughing like the others. She couldn't ignore the strange feeling growing inside her. Chioma's name instantly came to mind, her sudden wealth, her overnight fame, even the strange aftertaste of her zobo. Something didn't feel right. Rita had always heard stories of mad people being able to see what others couldn't. Was this one of those moments? Quietly, she asked herself, could there be some truth to this? Rita couldn't sleep that night. Her mind raced with questions, her gut telling her not to brush this off. Determined to find out the truth, she did something bold. She had taken a bottle of Chioma's zobo home with her. Now, sitting in her kitchen, she poured the drink into a bowl and placed it in front of her dog, Billy. She watched closely. Billy sniffed the bowl, growled, and jumped back, barking furiously. Rita's heart sank. To confirm, she poured some of her own leftover zobo into another bowl and set it beside the first. This time, Billy wagged his tail and drank it eagerly. Rita stared wide-eyed at the untouched bowl of Chioma's zobo. Her suspicions were no longer just paranoid thoughts. Something was definitely wrong. She clenched her fist, her fear turning into determination. "I'm going to find out what Chioma is hiding," she muttered under her breath. And with that, Rita's plan began to form. Something felt dark, and she wasn't going to stop until she uncovered the truth. Very early in the morning, before the first light of dawn crept into the skies, Rita tiptoed her way to the back of the popular zobo seller's shop. She moved cautiously, her heartbeat echoing in the silence, driven by a potent mixture of greed and envy. Today, she muttered under her breath, "I'll finally uncover Chioma's secret. Whatever she's putting in that zobo that makes it so delicious, I must know." For weeks, Rita had watched in frustration as customers swarmed Chioma's zobo stand at the village market, bypassing her stall entirely. As she reached the shop, her face lit up when she saw Chioma through the kitchen window. The sight of empty plastic bottles neatly arranged, waiting to be filled with the sought-after drink, filled Rita with determination. She crouched into a hidden corner where she could see everything but remain invisible. From her hiding spot, Rita grinned mischievously as she settled into position. Finally, she whispered to herself, her voice dripping with mock triumph, "I discovered the magical ingredient that makes Chioma's zobo sell out daily. Let's see if she can keep her crown after I learn her tricks." Her eyes darted around the kitchen, watching every move Chioma made. However, nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to witness. Suddenly, her grin faded, replaced by a look of utter shock. Rita felt her stomach churn as Chioma untied her wrapper, removed a blood-soaked pad from her underwear, and casually dropped it into the steaming pot of zobo juice. Rita's breath hitched, and her hand flew to her mouth to stifle a scream. Chioma mixed the pot, ensuring the blood from the pad blended seamlessly with the red zobo juice. Her movements were calm, almost methodical, as though she were performing a sacred ritual. Once satisfied, she placed a funnel over the bottles and began filling them with the tainted liquid. From her hiding spot, Rita stared in horror, her mind spinning. "This can't be real," she thought. "Am I dreaming? What kind of witchcraft is this?" She blinked rapidly, hoping to wake up from what felt like a nightmare, but the scene before her was painfully real. Chioma's face carried no trace of shame or hesitation as she continued her task. Rita's initial shock slowly turned into disgust and anger. How could she? Rita thought, clutching her chest as if to calm her racing heart. No wonder people are addicted to her zobo. They have no idea what they are drinking. Despite the horror, a small, twisted satisfaction crept into her thoughts. At least now I know her secret, she whispered, still trembling. When Rita returned home, the scene kept replaying in her mind like a bad dream. She felt both triumphant and disgusted. Is it really the blood that makes the zobo so thick and sweet, she wondered aloud, pacing her small, shabby room. Or is it the dark magic she uses alongside it? She clutched her head, torn between two ideas. Maybe I should confront her, demand that she teach me her full method, she mused. A sly smile crept onto her face. If she plays along, good. But if she doesn't, she paused, her voice growing colder, then I'll expose her. No one would ever buy from her again, and my zobo sales will soar. She laughed bitterly and muttered, last, who know like better thing. As she contemplated her next move, memories of her past friendship with Chioma flooded her mind. Back in university, they had been inseparable. Chioma and I were like sisters, Rita thought wistfully. They had even served in the same town during their youth service, sharing every experience, good or bad. After service, both women married wealthy, loving men and moved to different cities, promising to stay in touch. How did we end up here? Rita asked herself. The answer, she knew, lay in the twist of fate. Chioma's life had seemed perfect initially. Her husband, Emeka, worked in a prestigious oil company, Chevron. They lived comfortably in Lagos and had 3 beautiful daughters. But everything changed when Emeka was transferred to Delta State. Chioma wanted the whole family to relocate, but Emeka refused, claiming his company's policies wouldn't allow it. Don't worry, my love, Emeka had said, patting her back dismissively. I'll visit every weekend. Chioma pleaded tearfully, how can you expect me to stay here with 3 kids, alone? Please talk to your boss, she'll understand. But Emeka stood firm. What Chioma didn't know was that Emeka had no intention of relocating for work. Instead, he had begun an affair with his boss, Mrs. Margaret, who had promised him unimaginable wealth in return for his loyalty. At first, Emeka kept his promise, coming home on weekends. But gradually, his visits became less frequent until months passed without a word. Chioma's calls went unanswered, and the financial support dwindled to nothing. She was left to fend for herself and her children. From a life of luxury to begging for survival, Chioma thought bitterly as she struggled to provide. Her youngest child, only 5 years old, cried often from hunger, and Chioma's desperation grew with each passing day. One fateful day, as Chioma wandered through the streets searching for a menial job, she stumbled upon a school with a long line of students waiting at a roadside stand. Curious, she approached and saw a woman selling zobo. The sight of the eager customers sparked an idea. Maybe I can start selling zobo too, Chioma thought, but her hope quickly faded. I don't have the skills or the money to start. She sighed deeply and headed to the school gate, where she was stopped by the security guard, Musa. Please, let me see the principal, Chioma pleaded. Musa, a funny-looking young man, smirked. No access card, no entry, he said smugly. Chioma's frustration bubbled over. Is it because I'm not dressed in designer clothes that you're treating me like this? She snapped. Musa shrugged. Thank God you know. Exasperated, Chioma fished out a crumpled 100 naira note and handed it to him. Musa's expression changed instantly. Oh, madam, you should have said so, he said, grinning as he opened the gate for her. Inside, the principal informed Chioma that there was no vacancy for a cleaner. Dejected and thirsty, she returned to the roadside stand she had seen earlier to buy water. To her surprise, the vendor was none other than Rita, her long-lost friend. The two women recognized each other immediately and embraced. "Chioma!" Rita exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "It's been ages. What happened to you? You look tired." Chioma's eyes filled with tears as she recounted her struggles, from Emeka's betrayal to her daily fight to feed her children. Moved by Chioma's story, Rita shared her own heartbreak. "After 3 years of marriage, my mother-in-law forced me out because I couldn't conceive," she revealed, tears streaming down her face. "But at least you don't have hungry children crying at home," Chioma said bitterly. "Every day, I watch them suffer, and it breaks my heart." Rita sighed and reached into her pocket. "Here," she said, handing Chioma 5,000 naira. "Use this to buy food for your kids. And don't worry, I'll come to visit later today." True to her word, Rita visited Chioma's home that evening. The sight of the children's condition brought tears to her eyes. Holding the youngest, Rachel, close, she vowed to help. "Chioma," she said firmly, "I'll teach you how to make zobo and lend you the money to start your own business. You're not alone in this." Chioma wept with gratitude, hugging Rita tightly. For the first time in months, hope flickered in her heart. The next day, after finishing her sales, Rita kept her promise and took Chioma to her house. She patiently taught her the intricacies of making delicious zobo. "The secret is in the proportions," Rita explained, measuring the ingredients with precision. "Don't rush the process, and always use fresh ingredients. Customers can tell the difference." Chioma listened intently, scribbling notes and asking questions. For the first time in months, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. "Thank you so much, Rita," Chioma said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I'll never forget this kindness." Rita smiled warmly. "We are friends, Chioma. That's what friends are for." Armed with her newfound skills and the money Rita loaned her, Chioma went to the market the following morning. She bought a cooler, bottles, and all the necessary ingredients. Back home, she carefully prepared the zobo, following Rita's instructions to the letter. When she was done, she proudly carried her cooler to the roadside beside the school and set up her stall. At first, things seemed promising, passers-by stopped to inquire, and a few bought her zobo. But as the day went on, the stream of customers dwindled. Most people bypassed her stand to buy from Rita's store instead. That evening, Chioma returned home, her shoulders slumped in defeat. "Why aren't they buying from me?" she muttered, her mind racing with doubts. The next day, the pattern repeated itself, low sales and even lower morale. Frustrated, she confided in Rita. "Why is this happening? I followed everything you taught me," she complained, tears welling up in her eyes. Rita placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "It's always slow at the beginning," she reassured her. "Building a customer base takes time. Be patient, Chioma. Things will get better." But Chioma's patience wore thin as the days turned into weeks with little improvement. Envy began to creep into her heart as she watched the steady stream of customers at Rita's stand. "Maybe Rita didn't teach me everything," she thought bitterly. "Why else would my zobo not sell as well as hers?" Slowly, she started avoiding Rita, convinced that her friend had intentionally withheld the full recipe. Each night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling and questioning everything. Did Rita set me up to fail? Did she just want me out of pity but not to succeed? The thoughts consumed her, making her more resentful with each passing day. One day, a man named Mr. Chidi, a wealthy and frequent customer, stopped by Chioma's stall. Noticing her forlorn expression, he asked, "Why do you look so sad, madam?" Chioma forced a weak smile. "Business hasn't been great," she admitted. Mr. Chidi leaned closer, lowering his voice. "I can help you turn things around, but you need to be open to unconventional methods." Chioma's curiosity was piqued. Unconventional. What do you mean? She asked cautiously. Let's just say it involves a little bit of dark magic, Mr. Chidi replied with a sly smile. At first, Chioma was taken aback. Dark magic? I don't understand, she said, her voice tinged with skepticism. But then she thought of her children, their hunger, their tears, their hopeless future. What kind of magic are we talking about? She asked hesitantly. Mr. Chidi smirked. I'll explain everything tomorrow. Trust me, your sales will skyrocket. Chioma felt a knot form in her stomach. She knew it was wrong, but desperation gnawed at her resolve. Fine, she said after a long pause. If it will help me take care of my children, I'll do it. True to his word, Mr. Chidi returned the next morning with a grim set of instructions. To make your zobo irresistible, you need to add a personal touch, your blood, he said, his voice devoid of emotion. Your menstrual blood. Mix it into the zobo juice, and the magic will do the rest. Customers won't be able to resist it. Chioma recoiled in horror. You mean, serve people my blood, she stammered. Mr. Chidi nodded, his expression unchanging. Think of the money, the success, the better life for your children. Isn't that worth it? Chioma spent the entire day wrestling with her conscience. The idea repulsed her, yet the allure of escaping poverty was undeniable. I've suffered too much, she thought, tears streaming down her face. My children deserve better. I deserve better. By nightfall, her desperation won out. She resolved to follow Mr. Chidi's instructions, convincing herself it was the only way to secure a brighter future for her family. I'll do it, she whispered, her voice trembling. But God, please forgive me,